Hey guys, I'm in my blackberry patch this morning, and as you can see behind me, it is out of control. So is it too late? The question today is it too late to be pruning your blackberries in the summertime? Short answer is no. For the long answer, stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to Farm Alarm. My name's Tracy. So short answer is no, it's not too late. You can almost prune your blackberries at any point. If they're getting too tall, like these ones behind me, 7-8 foot tall, you've got to prune those because strong windstorms come and they're definitely going to take down your blackberry plants. I got a comment on one of our videos. It's June 25th. Is it too late to prune the tall ones now? And they're already picking blackberries, they say. Well, here's the deal. No, it's not too late, even if they're super tall. So here's the thing. Here's how blackberries grow. They're a 2-year plant. So if you've been doing blackberries for a while, just know that. Well, first off, one comment that I always get is a blackberry bush. Well, blackberries don't grow in a bush. A bush would be like, let's see, a blueberry plant or blueberry bush. You have, it's kind of like a tree. So you've got this plant that grows, and every year that plant's going to grow and grow and grow a little bit more and a little bit more next year, kind of like a tree, and more blueberries are going to come on that plant. Well, blackberry is more like a vine, and it's a 2-year plant. The first year is going to pop up just like this plant right here. So this plant's going to grow. It's going to start up as a new shoot, and it's going to keep growing vertical. The next year, this plant will harden off, and then it will produce berries like this plant right here. And then after it produces berries, it's dead. It's dying. It won't do anything. You need to get rid of that plant. And the reason for, well, one, it's not going to produce any more fruit for you, so why keep it around? 2, the wood is going to rot, and it can produce, or it can attract what's called cane borer beetles, and if you get those, it's not going to be good for your plants, and they're just going to, rot away at all of your cane stalks, and then eventually your whole blackberry rows will just, start dying off before they even produce fruit. But back to the ones that I'm assuming they're talking about right now, because usually the 2nd-year plants, like the ones that are producing the berries here, they're not really going to grow a whole lot more. They're really done growing. They're going to produce some new foliage, or they're going to produce all new foliage the 2nd year, and there's going to be a little bit of growth to them. But as far as vertically growing, they're not really going to grow a whole lot that 2nd year. They're going to produce the foliage, the leaves, so they can get that energy from the sun, and then transfer that into the flowers to produce these nice delicious blackberries. But as far as the 1st-year plants, you can see this plant behind me. I'm 6 foot tall. This thing is at least a foot over my head. You got to prune this thing. I've been busy this year. Life happens, and things get behind. So anyway, right now, no time better than present to go ahead and prune these things. So get out your trusty pruning shears, and really you want the plant, I like the plants to be about 5 foot tall. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut this dude about right here, and so that's about a good 1.5 foot off of there. And then this right here you could throw to your chickens or compost, whatever you want to do to it. But generally you'd see the very top of this plant. I don't know if it's focusing there, but that's what you want to top. And of course this plant is too tall to do that. But you can see that this plant right here is right at the right height. So you could shear them off. These plants are going to be really tender. You could always just come in, squirt with your fingernail or your thumbnail, and rip that right off, and feed that to your chickens. But that plant right there, that's going to make a real nice plant. So will this. It's just a little more mature, and you could tell its leaves are bigger. Its stalk is bigger around than this plant right here. Either one of them is going to be fine. This is a weed. That thing can just be pulled. So what happens after you prune them? Well, a blackberry plant in its 1st year is is going to grow vertically, and as it's growing vertically, it's just going to keep going. It's going to go, you know, it'll go 9-10 feet if it had the support. You know, if you've got a real immature row, a small row, it's probably, and it's not trellised, it's probably going to fall over. I've got 1 or 2 over there, 3 over there. They're at least 8 to 9 foot tall. So anyway, what happens next? After you prune them, basically you're telling it, whoa, don't grow any taller. So it's not going to keep getting taller. What's going to happen now is the laterals, the side branches here, these are going to start to grow out. So you've basically told the plant, stop growing tall. So it's going to stunt the growth of the plant vertically. So but what it's going to do is it's going to start making the side branches grow out. Now if you look at last year's plant, this one right here, you see that this is where we had topped it last year, and it did not grow any taller. It started to take these side branches, these lateral branches, and making them grow out sideways. And now this branch here, you see that it's probably a good 20-22 inches long, where it was originally like this. You know, it was just a 2-3 inch branch, and after we stunted its growth, it put production into making those lateral branches come out. Now you're going to want to keep those lateral branches around 18 inches. 18 to 20 inches is a good rule, and that way you don't get too much weight. And again, now even though this plant is a little taller, you can see this plant's about 6 foot tall, a little taller than I like to see. It's about to get loud because here comes a helicopter. He's coming right over us. Anyway, once we said don't grow any taller, well, these side branches that are up top on the plant, they decided to kind of grow at an angle, so they grew a little bit taller. Let's see if we can get this helicopter in there. Yeah, wow, that was low. That was crazy. Okay, that doesn't happen too often. So anyway, back to the blackberries. You know, we're topping the plants. We're training the side branches to come out. And what's going to happen is it's June 25th, right? It's actually a little bit later than that. It's probably June 27th. And yes, it's late. We were able to top this, but the thing is, these side branches haven't grown out yet, and I did say that we need to keep them around 18 to 20 inches. And so in about a month, when them things start to get really long, you're going to want to go ahead and prune those too. So these first year plants, you know, prune them at any time. You know, generally we just prune this little guy here where he was just now getting 5 foot. Great time to prune them. But if they get, you know, 9 foot, 7 to 9 foot, there's no reason not to prune them. So go ahead and prune them. And again, whenever they do get those lateral branches out there, you prune them as well, anytime. So let's start talking about the second year plants, the ones that are now producing fruit. In the spring, they are producing flowers, and those flowers turn into said fruit. Well, that's the perfect time to prune them back, because they will continue to grow a little bit. So that'd be a good time in the early spring to go ahead and keep those branches back. But if you forget it, that's okay. You know, you can prune them at any time as well. But just know, as they are producing fruit, you know, they can produce fruit past where you're gonna prune at. And another reason why you would want to keep them pruned is because the more energy that this plant is putting into foliage, the less energy that it's going to produce into good fruit. So you can have a plant that's going to have a ton of fruit on it, but it might not be the best fruit. If you have a smaller plant, a pruned plant, it's going to produce less fruit, but that fruit could be bigger fruit. It could be better tasting fruit. So that's the reason why you would always want to prune your trees, or your blackberry vines, or your blueberry bushes. I have neighbors that have trees and they do not prune them at all, and their thinking was, well, we'll get a lot more fruit. Well, the problem is with that is the fruit that you're getting is probably not going to be as good as the fruit that you could have got if you had pruned it. So anyway, This is about it for this video today. We have a lot of videos on blackberries. My plans was to make a complete, man, I am hot out here, it's sweaty hot, complete blackberry series this year. Things got crazy busy. We're building a new shop, and we've got so many sheep this year. Well, it's actually not that many, but what do we have? We got 8 sheep. That's a lot for us. And just a lot of things going on here. So if you're new to our channel, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and check out our #1 blackberry video. And I will leave it right here, probably right here. Maybe I'll leave it over here, who knows. But anyway, we'll see you guys on the next video.